Boston Celtics fans, you just got a double dose of great news. We got our first injury update in the rehab process from Jayson Tatum and some news on Derrick White that you're going to want to hear on today's show. You're watching Celtics Today, and I am your host, Tyler Smith. And look, man, this is going to be a tumultuous offseason for the Boston Celtics. And I want you guys to be in the loop and make sure that you know the information when it hits the presses. So, all you guys got to do to stay in the loop and never miss a beat on the Celtics this offseason is these three things. Go down below and hit that big red sub button. 100% free Celtics content all the time. Then you go and click the notification bell so your phone gets alerted every single time that we post content here on the channel. And then you select all so you never miss a thing here at Celtics Today. Whether it's a trade, another injury update, or what have you this offseason, we will have you covered. So subscribe and turn on your notifications right now. All right, so we're going to go through the good news for Jayson Tatum, and let's preface with the details that we have already known to this point, right? Tears his Achilles in Game 5 against the Knicks, and then less than 12 hours later, essentially, undergoes the surgery to repair a fully ruptured right Achilles. Now, that's going to be an injury that is going to potentially keep him out for the entire 25-26 NBA season, and it's a long rehab process, and it is a very delicate rehab process, as Achilles injuries are not easy to come back from, and especially to come back from at the same form that you were pre-injury. But Jayson Tatum did share the first piece of the rehab process via his Instagram, and look, it's not all that much, but it is good news for me, for the Celtics in general, for Celtics fans everywhere, that JT is in the Auerbach Center. He's in the training facility, and just posted a picture of that foot that he's working on here all summer and probably into the fall and into the spring as well. So JT is starting this rehab process, and that is awesome news for Celtics fans, as with him being 27 years old, getting the surgery from the same doctor that performed Kevin Durant's. There are a lot of positive lights in a rather dark situation for a 27-year-old who's made 4 straight All-NBA first teams. So, there are silver linings to look at. It looks like he's getting ahead of the rehab process, and also signs point to him having a full recovery here. Hopefully, all goes well, and we'll keep you guys updated as that goes on. And, as it goes on, the first Jayson Tatum rehab video of him just, even doing some lunges or stretches, or it's going to be a long time before he gets on the basketball court. But, when he starts actually working out again, it's going to hit like crack. I might have to, crack open a beer and get together with the boys when JT's first rehab video goes down. But, hey, we got that little teaser with his foot. And I'm confident in a strong return for Jayson Tatum. This is a guy who has been the league's Iron Man since he has come in to the NBA. I mean, dating back to 2017-18, this guy has played the most regular season games. He's played the most playoff games. He's got the most playoff wins. It's insane to me that, year after year, he misses less than 10 games. Even those, 2019-20 and 2020-2021, where he only played 66 and 64 games. Yeah, those were shortened seasons. The guy literally missed less than 10 games in his entire NBA career. It's unreal, and, I just hope that he gets the respect he deserves when he ends up coming back, and hopefully better from this injury. And look, I just want to get this quickly out of the way. I saw this video this morning, and it just got me hot, so I had to address it on the show. Shaq was talking with Adam Lefkoe about whether or not Jayson Tatum is a Hall of Famer at this point. Yeah, never take Shaquille O'Neal's basketball opinion as the Bible. Top 5 talent of all time, but at the end of the day, he just doesn't know squat, and he has a lot of biases in his arguments. So, and he's always flip-flopping everywhere. Just never take Shaq serious. Jayson Tatum is 100% stamped a Hall of Famer. 4 straight first-team All-NBAs, 5 All-Stars, champion. Yeah, he is stamped. And will he come back to that level of player? That's what I want to know from you guys. Are you guys confident that JT can return to a top 5 level in this league? Type yes or no in the comments section. Let me know how you guys think he's going to return from one of the worst injuries that you can have in the NBA. All right, now let's get to the second piece, the second dose of good news, as Derrick White could potentially be untouchable in trade talks this offseason. We know the Celtics have to shed some money off of their books, and Derrick White is a name that's certainly going to draw interest around the league, as a 30-year-old player who is the quintessential role player, a plug and play, and honestly, you can just play him with anybody alongside in this league. Michael Scotto said this about the league-wide interest in Derrick White and how the Celtics feel about it. He said Derrick White, who turns 31 in July, has always drawn interest from teams around the league. However, Boston has rebuffed previous inquiries to this point, and he's still young enough to potentially be a difference maker during the 26-27 season when Tatum should be fully healthy. And that's so funny how Derrick White has always drawn interest from teams around the league. That's really interesting considering Brad Stevens traded Josh Richardson and a bag of chips for Derrick White. So it's funny to me that he's always had interest around the league, but Brad was able to scoop him up for the low. And it makes total sense to me to prioritize keeping Derrick White. He is on a uber team-friendly contract at like less than $30 million annually, and the production that he gives you on both ends of the floor is quite literally very hard to match in this league. I mean, he's a 15 to 17 point per game guy, and this is a player who, when the Celtics are resting guys during the regular season, can step into a one or second scoring option role and put up 25, 30 points any given night. He has the ability to hit double-digit threes and do it at a very high efficiency. He's been a 39, 38, 40% three-point shooter all the past 3 seasons. So, like, this is a guy who has a very high value around the NBA. Plus, he is an excellent defender as well, both on the ball and at the rim. One of the best shot-blocking guards in the NBA, maybe of all time, at the guard position. And look, there have been Derrick White trade rumors early on this offseason. Remember Logan Murdoch over at The Ringer, who is a former Golden State Warriors beat reporter, did link Derrick White and the Warriors as a potential trade idea this summer and said that the Warriors should have interest and should make calls and probably will make calls to the Celtics. But if anything, in my opinion, these calls are going to be short and sweet. Celtics are going to hang up pretty quickly when it's all said and done because I don't think that anything that you give for Derrick White is going to match the value that he provides for Boston at this point. I would need the haul of all hauls. I'm talking a Mikal Bridges type of return in order to trade Derrick White. Like, I'm talking multiple first-round picks. Like, he is that valuable of a player, and make no mistake about it, yes, he has not made an all-star team just yet, but neither did Bridges before he got sent away for 5-6 first-round picks to the Knicks. So I would need that type of return to trade Derrick White, and I don't think the Celtics are getting that this summer. If they do, you never know. Brad might just bite on it, but I think it's very, very unlikely. Is Derrick White untouchable in trade talks for you? This is a your opinion type of question. Let me know in the comment section, yes or no. Is Derrick White a player that you would consider trading even for an absolute haul or not? Next, we're going to go through the Celtic that is actually most likely to be traded per an NBA insider. We'll talk about that in just a moment, but first, I got to shout out our proud sponsor, and that is Prize Picks. Prize Picks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports platform because it's daily fantasy made easy. Here's how it works. All you guys got to do is pick a lineup of 2 to 6 players and just pick more or less on their projected stats. Whether it's basketball or hockey, it's got the finals going on in both right now, or baseball season's in full swing as well. Or if you want to get weird and go bowling, darts, esports, they have it all. You can mix and match and win up to 2,000 times your money on Prize Picks. Just pick more or less. And Prize Picks always wants to make it easier for you guys to win real money in real time watching your favorite sports with fun deals like Taco Tuesday where they discount stat projections, or like today, Flex Friday, where if you place a flex lineup and lose it, they give your money back in promo funds up to $20. So take advantage of all the fun deals they have over at Prize Picks and our promo code CLNS, the bottom right of your screen. That gets you $50 for free when you sign up and place your first $5 entry. But don't worry, you don't have to win that entry to see the $50. It's guaranteed. So download Prize Picks today. Use the promo code CLNS for a free $50. Prize Picks. Run your game. All that information will be clickable down in the comment section and description of today's video. All right, Chris Mannix of Sports Illustrated, who we heard linked the Spurs to a Jaylen Brown trade recently, said the following. Sam Hauser, to me, is the most likely candidate to go and be traded this offseason just because you have Baylor Scheierman in there effectively to fill his role. Like, Scheierman, and by the way, we're not going to talk about him too much on today's show, but like he showed flashes last season in his rookie year, and I think he's going to be, or at least have the ability and progress to the point where he can take Sam Hauser's minutes, and the Celtics can get off of the money that he's costing them at this point. Because look, Sam Hauser, he's on a very team-friendly kind of contract at $45 million over 4 years, but with the Celtics' tax implications, it's going to cost them $90 million with the penalties that they face. So, like, it just makes zero sense to keep Sam Hauser at this point, especially when you consider the C's are going to have to get rid of multiple solid contracts on their books. And Hauser is a value around the league. Like, he's above 40% three-point shooter on good volume, like a guy you bring off the bench and was an integral part to the C's winning a title. Remember when they went on that crazy run in the first quarter of Game 1 last year? Yeah, Sam Hauser capped that run off with a big corner three that I absolutely went berserk for. So I love Sam Hauser, but it's unfortunate that he might have to become a cap casualty for Boston this summer. So some teams that could potentially be interested in a Sam Hauser trade. The San Antonio Spurs. Look, they have a couple of, young players who I don't know if they're, long-term pieces over there. This would be more of a salary dump type of scenario. The Spurs definitely need more, lights out three-point shooting on their roster as well. And they're going to be a team that I presume is going to try to contend in the Western Conference over the next couple of seasons with Wemby and De'Aaron Fox, and whatever moves they make. Sam Hauser could absolutely be a name that comes off of the bench for them, as they don't have a ton of financial issues, and he can hit some threes for them, no doubt about it. What about the Orlando Magic, who they had the lowest three-point percentage in the entire NBA. They were the worst shooting team in the league, and they could absolutely use a player like Hauser, and not only just offensively, but underrated defender as well. 6'8", switchable. Like, he's not going to be the best on-ball guy, but I've seen flashes of this guy locking up Kyrie Irving before. Like, I'm not going to sleep on him as a defender. So he fits right in Orlando and can hit the catch-and-shoot jumper any day of the week. What about Detroit though? Like, they need some shooting as well, and have been in the market for a shooter this offseason. And Cade Cunningham, the heliocentric offense they run up there, like, you're going to need guys who he's able to get downhill and be able to, kick out to the corner or the right wing. Like, Sam Hauser is a movement shooter, and he can hit him from anywhere on the basketball court, and I think any of these teams would be lucky to have his services. Celtics could just take whatever return is best for them. Mannix also said this about the Celtics this summer, and this isn't anything too new, but he said, I think that they'd like to find a home for Jrue Holiday just because of the contract and where they are as a team. Kristaps Porzingis, who knows? I don't think they want to take on contracts that go on longer than Porzingis' deal, but he's certainly available. And that's kind of the issue, right? Like, Porzingis is a $30 million expiring contract, and that's going to have some interest around the NBA. But if the Celtics are going to deal him to try to shed some money, like, you don't really want to take on contracts that go longer than 2025, 2026. So it's going to be a complicated scenario, and many Celtics trade scenarios this offseason are going to be complicated. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. But what we do know is at least two Celtics big contracts are going to have to go. And that doesn't necessarily have to include both Holiday and Porzingis. I mean, there is a world where they can move off of a Holiday, move off of or move off of Porzingis, and then trade Sam Hauser. Because, look, man, like, these are just too many big contracts to have on your books at this point. Like, you're not trading Derrick White. He actually makes the least money at all these guys. It's unfathomable that's the case. Jrue Holiday is a name that you'd want to move off of, and Kristaps, you never know like what the value is going to be back in a deal. Like, Brad Stevens isn't going to give these guys away for bags of chips, so like he's going to try to get some value back. And if he doesn't see any value back, especially for Porzingis, whose value is at an all-time low right now, he's probably not going to deal him. So we'll see how it all shakes out. The Celtics don't have to necessarily move all this money and get out of the second apron until the trade deadline, so there is room and time to get this all worked out. But what I know is at least one of these big contracts, and at minimum Sam Hauser, is going to have to go this summer for the Celtics to get under the second apron. And Porzingis coming back, like I said, is realistic. Like, the value that he gave Boston in his 2 seasons was awesome. He kind of made them a cheat code. Like, he was the cheat code that kind of like broke the NBA and let them play at their ceiling. But the availability concerns is certainly an issue. Like, he was not available for the most of the championship run in the postseason, and then in 2025 he was a shell of himself. Like, couldn't breathe, could not be a productive basketball player whatsoever. So like, there are those red flags, but there are also those red flags for the rest of the NBA. So are you going to get a good trade haul back for Porzingis? If you don't, I think Brad could consider keeping him in Boston at least for next season. Who is the most likely Celtic to be traded this offseason? No, that's my next question for the Green Teamers in the comments section. Who is that going to be? Who's getting dealt this summer? Let me know who the first guy you think it's going to be. Could the Celtics also act as a vehicle? Like, to get some money off of their books, and I know there are reports and rumors that Boston's not going to try to just straight salary dump. Like, they're going to try to get some players that can be impact guys on this roster back in a return for Holiday, Porzingis, whoever. But to shed some more salary off of their books, like potentially later down the line this summer, could the Celtics act as a vehicle in a bigger trade, like be the third, fourth team that the NBA needs to kind of make some of these deals happen, and specifically in a Kevin Durant trade? And I don't just bring this up out of nowhere. Brian Robb of Mass Live said this. He said Durant earns $54.7 million next season, so any trade involving him and the Suns will have to involve significant salaries being sent out by whatever team they trade with. Trades of these sizes sometimes open the door for a third or even fourth team to get involved. Given Boston's need to move some excess salary this offseason, they could certainly try to work their way into a deal to help move secondary pieces. The other aspect of this is worth watching for Boston, naturally, is where Durant ends up. And it's unfortunate, man. Like, this new CBA just doesn't make two-team trades very realistic and possible a lot of the time, even if the two sides agree to the parts that are being exchanged. Like, you're gonna see multiple, like, 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6 team deals this summer because everybody wants to get better and nobody has money to do it. So everybody's going to have to try to negotiate and move some pieces around to improve their rosters, and that's going to involve multi-team deals. I think it's going to happen all summer long, so be on the lookout. And the Celtics could be one of those teams. Maybe Sam Hauser gets dealt in one of those Kevin Durant trade scenarios, and he goes along with Durant to San Antonio or something of those lines. Celtics get off some money in that regard, but I know that they're going to try to improve this roster heavily this offseason as far as looking down the line and how it looks in the future. But as far as a Durant trade goes, don't expect the Celtics to help him go to the Eastern Conference with it still being fairly wide open next season. And if they keep the core intact of Jaylen Brown and Derrick White, then they're as good as any team in the Eastern Conference, in my opinion. Even without Jayson Tatum. So, don't expect the Celtics to try to help Durant get to the East or act as a vehicle in a trade that sends him, to the East Coast. But, they could try to maybe get him to the West or on another team in the West now, as he's with Phoenix. Whatever happens, though, I just trust Brad Stevens to make the right basketball moves. He's done me no wrong so far, and I'm not going to stop believing in him now. Even though his back's kind of against the wall and a lot of deals that he's going to try to make this summer are going to be difficult and it might take a while. But I believe in Brad Stevens. Do you believe in Brad Stevens? Make it known for me by going down below and hitting that thumbs up icon. That will do it for today's edition of Celtics Today by Chat Sports. If you love the show, consider subscribing. If you made it to the end, I'm sure you did. So hit that big red sub button, 100% free Celtics content all off season long, and hit that like button as well on your way out. We'll see you guys on the next one. And as always, let's go C's.